What is the point of having a system that gives authority to people who don't deserve it? You say I complained. Good God, of course I complained. Nothing was being done. You know that as well as I do. Nobody understood the scale of the problem. I mean, it wasn't just a question of more staff, more money. We needed new ideas, electronics, an industry. Absolutely bugger all was being done about it. If I hadn't written to Mr. Churchill, if I had gone through the usual so-called proper channels, we'd all be stuck here twiddling our thumbs, getting nowhere fast. Do these people know how Churchill replied to my letter? Do they? Make sure they have all they want on extreme priority.
I know.
That is what he wrote.
I know.
Action this day.
I know. And I know you did the wrong thing. I'm only trying to explain why such unorthodox methods are bound to cause a considerable upset.
All that matters is the work we do. Differences of attitude, differences of personality should not enter into it.
They shouldn't, but they do.
Well, then they should be ignored.
You can't go through life ignoring the effect you have on other people or the effect other people have on you.
Well, you can try.
All right. Let me give you an example. A few minutes ago, you inquired after my health. Supposing I'd said that I'm mortally ill and that I've only a year or so to live. Supposing I'd broken down, wept. Supposing I'd opened my heart to you and said that I have no wish to die, that I am frightened and in despair. Well, I can't believe you would have welcomed such a disclosure. I feel sure you would have found it distressing, embarrassing, somewhat inconsiderate. And so, having regard for your feelings as well as my own, it would seem to be both correct and appropriate for me to moderate my response.
Are you, darling?
Similarly, or so it seems to me. When you reveal the nature of your sexuality, you cannot afford to ignore the effect you're having on other people. Fear, for example, when people are asked to accept something they do not understand. Or anger, when what you so unashamedly reveal is contrary to everything they've ever believed in. And pain, bound to cause a lot of pain. Not yourself necessarily, that's your affair anyway, but to people who are close to you. Anyone who's fond of you. Pain, real pain. Well, I think perhaps I will have a drink after all. You sure I can't persuade you?
No, thank you.
Your friend Wittgenstein once wrote something that impressed me deeply. I sat down there with a book in my hand and memorized what he'd written. This is what he said. We feel that even when all possible scientific questions have been answered, the problems of life remain completely unanswered.
Sorry to bother you at home, sir.
Oh, it's no bother. Come in.
Thank you.
I've just been do a bit of running.
Oh.
Not as much as I used to, lass.
Thank you.
Little age coming on.
What were you, long distance, sprinting or what?
Long distance. Marathon, actually.
Oh, God. I couldn't run that far when I was 20, let alone now.
Do sit there. Do you want to ask me some more questions?
Yes, sir, I do. But first of all, I think we should try to clear up this story of yours.
What story?
The one about a young man coming to your house to sell things. Brushes, I think you said. We have good reason to believe that you were lying. Were you lying?
Yes.
Why?
I'm sorry. It was very foolish of me.
Would you like to tell me what really happened?
Well, there was no brush salesman. A friend told me about the burglar.
A friend?
George. Yes.
How did this friend know about the burglary?
Well, he didn't know exactly. He guessed.
How did you guess?
Well, he'd been having a drink with George in a milk bar, and he mentioned me. My friend mentioned me. Told George where I lived. He'd been to dinner, you see. My friend had been to dinner a few days before. He was telling George all about it, and then when the burglary happened, I mentioned it to my friend, and then he said, well, it might have been George, because he knew that George was a petty thief, whatever the expression is. He just guessed.
Well, your friend was right.
Was he?
Detectives found some fingerprints here in your house. This man, George, has a criminal record.
Oh, I see. Yeah, and that proves it. Yeah. Yes, I see.
This friend of yours, what's his name?
Ron. Ron Miller.
A colleague of yours at the university?
Well, no.
Social acquaintance?
Yes, sort of.
Have you known him long?
Not long.
How long?
Well, 3 or 4 weeks.
How did you meet?
Well, you know, just casually.
So he's just a casual social acquaintance?
Yeah.
Not what you call a close friend?
No.
So why did you lie to conceal his identity?
Well, I didn't want to get him into trouble.
Why not?
Oh.
He was, after all, partly responsible for your house being burgled.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Wouldn't you, sir?
No, I wouldn't say responsible.
Partly responsible?
Well, it's difficult to say, isn't it? I mean, it's difficult to say just exactly what his involvement in all this actually was, is.
You told George your address?
Yes.
And presumably he knows that George has got a criminal record?
Yes.
So why go to all these lengths to protect him?
Well, the truth is, I'm having an affair with him.
With Miller?
With Ron. Yes.
You're having a sexual relationship with this man?
Yes.
What sort of sexual relationship?
How many sorts are there?
You tell me, sir.
Well, what exactly do you want to know?
I need to understand the precise nature of this sexual relationship.
What, you mean... Well, you want to know what we did?
That would help.
Oh. Well... Since you ask, it wasn't much more than mutual masturbation.
Did penetration occur?
No.
You do realise, don't you, sir, that this is a criminal offence?
Isn't all this rather beside the point? I thought we were trying to establish who would burgle my house.
That's part of it, yes.
Well, it's part of it. It's part of what?
You've just told me that you've committed a criminal offence. I can't ignore that, can I?
What criminal offence?
Gross indecency.
Oh, no, look, I didn't corrupt Ron. He knew exactly what he was doing. I mean, he came to my house, don't forget, perfectly well aware that we would almost certainly end up in bed together. Didn't come as any great surprise to him. He's had other homosexual experiences. It's ludicrous talking about criminal offences. And everything happened here. In private. In my own house. In private. If I hadn't told you, you wouldn't have known anything about it.
Well, you did tell me.
Well, can't you forget about it?
How old is this man, Miller?
He's 19, 20.
And how old are you, sir?
Obviously, I shouldn't have told you. I mean, I'm always saying things I shouldn't say, but surely there's no need to make a fuss about this. Surely you can forget what I told you. Can't you? Look, I'm not asking much. Please? Well, what is the position if I make a statement? Shall I?
That's up to you, sir.
Anyway, all right, I'll make a statement. You want me down the police station? I better get dressed.
Who is it?
It's me.
Alan, my dear. You are so silly. Why didn't you tell me you were coming down?
Well, I wasn't sure I'd be able to make it. I didn't want to disappoint you.
Well, it's a wonderful surprise. I'm delighted. Just look at that dreadful old jacket. I do wish you'd take more care of yourself. Now, how long can you stay? Don't tell me you've got to go rushing off tomorrow morning.
Well, yes, I may have to.
Well, never mind. We won't think about that. I've had the spare room completely redecorated. Lovely curtains, Liberty print.
Mother, listen, I've got something to tell you.
Something nice?
No, afraid not.
No, you wouldn't have come all this way to tell me anything nice. What is it?
Well, I'm in trouble.
What sort of trouble?
Serious trouble.
Tell me.
Well, it's so difficult to explain.
Is it something to do with money?
Well, no. Look, you know I've never been very interested in women.
People of your sort seldom are.
My sort? What do you mean, my sort?
People who spend their lives with their heads buried in books.
It has nothing to do with that.
What then?
I have no sexual feelings for women.
That's probably just as well. People seem to be getting divorced at such a rate these days.
Mother, will you please listen? Will you please try to understand?
I'm doing my best.
The police have discovered that I'm having an affair with a man.
A man?
Yes. I'm sorry. There is no other way to tell you.
You mean a Nancy boy? Will it be in the papers?
I don't know. Perhaps.
Thank God your father isn't alive. He was so proud of you. Have you always, I mean, have you always been like this?
Yes.
Always?
Yes.
But what about that girl you were engaged to? What was her name? Pat?
Mother, I was never engaged to her.
I thought you loved her.
I was fond of her. Yes, I loved her as a friend.
What's going to happen?
There'll be a trial.
They're sending you to court.
Yes.
Well, will you go to prison?
Possibly.
How did the police find out? Did they catch you? Did they find you with this man?
I told them.
Why? Why?
Sorry.
Oh, how could bear to touch a man like that. How could you do such a thing? Will it affect your career?
I suppose so.
How?
I don't know.
What can I do to help?